Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
Well, if you ever get a chance to come down to Wild Kid Acres on Central Avenue, do it. I have not been actually walking the farm. I've passed it several times, but I have not been on the farm for a couple of years. I think it was in the middle of COVID when we last spoke with Gerardo Martinez, who is the founder, owner, farmer, and pretty much everything that is this farm. And boy, I got to say, there's a lot of change between the last time we talked in 2022.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what you've really done. And this, for those that aren't aware, this is a sustainable farm that was slightly less than a scrap heap in 2015, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
And Gerardo had the forethought to say, you know, we can make something of this, probably risk divorce and, disowning. So what are you thinking about? But what a business you've really created here. And can you tell us, pretty much what it is now? I mean, you are a sustainable farm. It's education.
Yeah, so we're a regenerative community farm. So this farm right here is only 5 acres. And like you said, I turned it from essentially like a trash, kind of like haven for trash, to this beautiful kind of like ultra productive farm by focusing on soil health and community involvement. So what ended up happening is, we last saw each other in 2022. No barn was here. I had just moved in my house when we last met. So
it wasn't even quite done.
No, it wasn't. And, my wife was just happy to be out of the RV that we were living in. Yeah, we've been really kind of focused on really not only regenerating the soil health and being productive here beyond the sustainment of just our family, but producing enough food to actually sell or donate. It's all focused on regenerating that sense of community as well. So not only bringing people to the farm and doing petting zoos and agritourism events, but also really trying to embody the sense of the farm should be the center of the community. It's where you should go for food, faith, just therapy in general, or just straight up just come here to hang out, right? So,
it's so true because I mean, my girlfriend's family is from out in Nebraska and Kansas, and they're all farmers.
Yeah.
It's just a totally different way of life out there. And I mean, I love it when I go out there. I love to, be out there. People are like, oh, are you sick of it yet? And obviously if you get there, we're all sick of Annapolis because we all sort of live here, but you get tired of the place where you are. But you're so right that, when you look at the farm, it really is the center of all. I mean, you've got, there's the old jokes that you can relate absolutely everything in the world back to dirt.
Yeah.
And it's true. You probably can, a couple steps, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. But it does go back to dirt. And I mean, when I came here last time, your house was mostly finished, but not quite. This huge barn facility that we're sitting in right now was not here. You had a little cinder block blue building with, some paint on the side and some pens. And you talk about the community getting involved. And I mean, there was just so many members of the community. I know that the Keller Williams had their Red Day, where they cleaned up, and knocked down that building. I know that you've certainly had the support of the state legislature and even some, of the federal legislature as to what you're doing here.
Yeah. So kind of as we grow, in 2021, we were just opening and seeing what we can do, right? How do we improve soil health? How do we enhance the local community's involvement in agriculture? How do we inspire the community? And how do we help other businesses grow as well? So we started figuring ourselves out over 2021. And then in 2022, when we got the money to build this barn, it was $250,000. And at the time, COVID prices were skyrocketing still. So we asked the community to help us build it. And so the barn you're sitting in right now is total of 10,000 square feet, including the second floor. 100% of the labor is volunteer or donated or, honestly, some guys would just show up and just be like, I'm here for the day. I'm a carpenter. That's all. This is all I can give you. And they would do it. And the community just like really like bonded. So like when you look around here, I mean, this is not a small barn by any means. And like,
No. And it's not just a shed.
no,
I mean,
it's legit. It's got fire alarm. It's got plumbing. It's got like actual bathrooms and stuff, which is more than a barn would have. So like everything that we used to buy for this farm, for the barn build, was just that money just went to concrete and lumber. That was it. Everything else you see in here, this huge fan, these tables, the stall doors, the doors outside, they were all either like just people would show up, we'd salvage them, or like scouts and then would build stuff for us. Like it really became a place where people can come to, not just like, hey, I have this old stuff, can you take it? But it really came to a place to like have a sense of purpose and learn a skill. That was a huge thing. Like the barn had over like, I think 1,000 volunteers, just over 1,000 volunteers helped build it. And most of them were young or like older people just trying to learn a skill. And then the other half of the people that would come were like neighbors, specifically like Morley Construction. His name's Victor, really good neighbor. He just came by one day and was like, man, I see you doing this. How are you doing it? And I was like, oh, we're building it ourselves. Like the state is helping us, but like really, we're just trying to do it ourselves. So it's going to go a little slower. He came by with 15 people and built the entire second floor in one day.
That's amazing. I mean, this is a combination of a labor of love as well as, sweat equity.
Mainly sweat equity. I like to say there's more sweat and tears in the walls than there is nails right now. So,
well, I'm sure. And I mean, it's got to be so powerful to you and your family when you see that you've been embraced by the community so well that, I mean, you're improving your property.
Yeah.
And, and obviously you're a great business. You're a great community neighbor in Edgewater. But I mean, to see that turnout, it's got to be pretty heart-wrenching and heartening for you.
Yeah, it's overwhelming because I'm not like, I don't see myself as this like community leader guy. I'm a former Marine. I'm a rough dude. Like I'm not like particularly like, I don't know. I'm not going to like hold a baby and be like, this is the cutest thing ever. Like I'm not that type of guy. But I think like the fact that I let people come and I'm like, look, on a farm, you're going to fail every day. Like, so I'm going to embrace that part about you. Like you be who you are and define this place how you want to define it. So if you're here to learn a skill, I'm going to try to help you. If you're here just to like get a mental reset, get some like therapy or whatever, like I'm going to help you. Just understand that like this place has to move, like it's alive. And I think I don't think it's us that are like really driving people here, but I think it's the fact that they can come here and just like be who they are. And if that's like super aggressive learning how to build stuff, like which has been a lot of people, obviously, so like I'm gonna embrace that. And like I'm the type of dude that is like I'm gonna defend you if you support us. I'm gonna be there to support you. So I think like a lot of people come here and it eventually starts becoming, I don't want to say like more like a cult, but it does feel very culty.
I get you.
Like,
well, I mean, farming and just in general, getting back to the earth. Okay, I'm starting like a hippy dippy type right now, but when you do get back to it, I mean, it does have some little bit of occult aspects because I mean, it does. I mean, it's so you've got a regenerative farm, but I mean, it regenerates your sense of peace and your sense in the body and everything else when you get to it. And you realize that, it's not all asphalt and skyscrapers and concrete. I mean, yes, there is some aspects of that here, but you look at the farm, you look at the animals that are here, you look at the education that's going there, you're looking at what you're able to grow. And I know back in 2022, and their need has not subsided at all, but I know that you were with some of your surplus, you were donating it to the Anne Arundel County Food Bank. So I mean, this is much more than a, hey, let's go down for a pony ride to Wildfit Acres.
Yeah. Like we kind of learned as we kind of grown that like the community is the only way that we can survive, right? Like farming is inherently like, one, it's a hard business, like 24/7 all time. But also like right now in the United States, most farmers don't make any money. Like
Right.
it's very hard. And
Nor do they have a control over a lot of the variables. I mean, you get rain or storms, whatever it may be.
Yeah, weather's just one, policy is the other one. That's also very fluctuating, you know. So it's just, we kind of started becoming like this weird kind of pseudo advocate, but also I think like because we embrace people and we are also very cultured, right? Like I'm Mexican American, my wife is from Peru. We bring into it an aspect of trying to share cultures as well. And that's not just being like, hey, we're going to have mariachis here. Like, this is why I ride. This is what my people have done, like growing up. And it's like, it's not always perfect, but it is like how we are, right? And I think leaning into that, because it's not just, it's also like the white communities and the black communities, they're all coming here. And we'll be like, hey, like this farm means something to you because everybody's got to eat. In your culture, wherever you're from, you have farming. Like, let's try to learn from each other. And then as we kind of learn from each other, we can advocate for policy that actually assists farms like this to be profitable, sustainable, and like long lasting for not just me, but for like my kids and my kids' kids. And then maybe you can get a farm and do the same thing and then have that next generation of farming.
It needs to happen. Well, let's talk a little bit about what Wild Kid Acres is today versus what it is. I mean, we're in this 10,000 square foot barn. And then for those that have not been here, it's divided essentially in half. One is what you would typically think is a barn with stalls and, you know, hay and manure and everything else that goes there. And the other half is, you know, more of like a gathering space, a banquet hall, a classroom.
Yeah. So the intent is for this banquet hall on the bottom floor to slowly become, as we get more funding, slowly become more of a market area and gathering space so that we have farm fresh food, not just from our farm, but from other farms that we aggregate from. But then the second floor, which is all open instead of being split in half, is going to be a commercial kitchen that farmers or other small business owners can come and utilize the small business, like commercial kitchen aspect of the health code.
Oh, wow.
So, and then the idea is that there's also a classroom up there. So essentially upstairs is going to be that like production learning center where we can like do the gatherings and the birthday parties and everything like we used to, and we still do, but also have like educational production as well as like accessible economic development for other small businesses.
You know, small businesses in Anne Arundel County make the world go around. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's Wild Kid Acres or the accountant down the road or whatever. I mean, the small businesses make America go around. And I mean, Anne Arundel County is so unique in that if you go up to Glen Burnie or out into Court Mead, okay, you've got this sort of metropolis here and the big skyscrapers. And Annapolis has it to a degree. And then, you come down across the South River. And I mean, we're such a robust agriculture area. And, you know, you wouldn't think of Edgewater as sort of on that fringe. It's not quite down Lothian or down in, you know, way South County where you're seeing the fields. So, I mean, that's why you're such a great respite.
We're like the conduit.
Well, what activities and, I mean, why are people coming here? I mean, I know that you've got, you know, you mentioned parties, you've got.
So we separate our business into three facets on which we can kind of like focus on as enterprises, you would say. So what we learned is that like agriculture tourism is its own enterprise for us. So that's where we kind of dedicate staff that are focused on the petting zoos, pony rides, the riding lessons and stuff like that. And then also all the education, which is the largest chunk of that business. So slowly from 2022 on, we started realizing that we're the only fully bilingual and sometimes trilingual, depending on staffing, education farm on the entire East Coast. So just our agricultural tourism.
Whoa, the only bilingual, sometimes trilingual.
So we speak
on the East Coast,
Spanish, English, and then with 5 other staff members, we can speak French too.
Wow.
Yeah. So we see that agricultural tourism has seen 50,000 visitors per year. Just because they're like, hey, there's this farm that speaks Spanish. Hey, there's this farm that they can speak French. They can, or even the people that only speak English, they're like, hey, you have like a very different viewpoint and you dress differently and you're different looking. Like, we'd like to come see you.
Wow. 50,000.
Yeah, 50,000. So like a lot of times that's mainly through the use of field trips, and educational events. So we also do mobile education now because we realize that like transportation access is an issue for especially the lower income families. So we go out and do education events with a trailer and a bunch of animals and
Bring the farm to them.
And like my son does lasso tricks and stuff like that. But so that aspect of the business is like the forefront and the facing part of it. But then the second part is we are a working farm. We are in production. So like we produce pork, beef, lamb, and a lot of culturally appropriate produce, but mainly pork, beef, and lamb. Like we're ranchers at heart. Like I'm Mexican and
Right.
that I like growing produce, but at the end of the day, I hate it.
Okay.
but we're cowboys. We like to work. It's part of our culture. So that production aspect of what we do, yeah, it does augment the agricultural tourism. Like you can come here and buy a pig if you want to like have for your cookout, or we can do cookouts and stuff for the tourism. But we are at the end of it, like the largest part of the business is actually being a production farm. And the beautiful thing is that like the agricultural tourism enterprise and the production enterprise, they feed each other. Like, oh my God, I have to go move like 50 cows today. I'm going to go to the agricultural tourism kids like, hey, you guys are in lessons. I need you to come help me be cowboys today. And then like, or we're doing produce production and I'm like, dude, I need like 20 people to harvest all this lettuce and carrots and everything.
Now,
Who wants to come?
all that's done right here on 5 acres.
Yeah, so we have 5 acres. We also have a production farm in Waldorf as well,
Okay.
but that does not do any agricultural tourism.
Wow.
But we're actually trying to get larger acreage. That's our path forward, is trying to get much larger acreage, not just for production, but also different sites for agricultural tourism. So we're very much on the expansion, which is crazy to say given the current economy that we're like eyes on looking for more, but we're looking for larger land to get into regenerative production so that we can take all these kids that are interested in the tourism aspect. They're thirsty. Like I can't handle the amount of people that want to do this stuff the way that we do it. And I was like, if I had 1,000 acres, I could take all those people and be like, you're going to be my cowboys today. Like, we're going to go grow food. We're going to go do this, like, so like they're just looking for opportunity and there isn't any out there because it is such a hard business to get into because like the buy-in cost for being a farmer is super high. The land access is an issue. Like there's a lot of things that are very difficult in farming right now.
Where are you looking to expand to? I mean, I know you said you've got a place down in Waldorf that's, a production. I mean, obviously, so you're working in Prince George's County or is that in?
So we're looking Prince George's County and Montgomery County predominantly because of the bilingual aspect. But we're also getting called from like New York City, Chicago, Sacramento, San Diego, Albuquerque, and a few cities down south, but they're not as strong. But we're like pulling us like, hey, we want Wild Kid Acres here. We like the brand. We like what you do to the community, not just for tourists, but for the local community around. We're getting asked to go, and because we're very successful, like urban farmers, I guess you could say, they're asking us to come because one downside is that all the funding dried up for most of these like nonprofit farms, but we're operating in production. So like we're totally capable of sustaining ourselves. Yeah. So like we've only ever received the grant for the barn build.
That's wild. Now, I know in the last time when we spoke, when we talked about sort of the impetus behind this, I know you and your wife were down there and it was a different world and people, the time slowed down and everything else. I want to make sure I link that to this when we talk so people can listen to that because it was really kind of a fascinating. But I mean, this has really sort of evolved from when you first started clearing the brush that was on this lot. And I mean, you've become a national, an example of what can be done. Was that accidental or was that your intent or?
Very accidental. I never, I talked to a lot of the people like you, like when people first came out here, I was like, I do not want to be the face of the farm. Like, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to do I just want to farm, right? Like, and at the end of the day, I still feel that. But as we kind of like grown in terms of like success and community influence and all that stuff, our little peninsula started becoming the highlight around the country of like, wow, why is he doing so well? What is he doing differently? And I always said, it's like, it's my community.
Success always makes people jealous.
Yeah. But I was asked to speak on one panel one time in this big, like, kind of farmer advocacy thing in DC. And I got, like I said, I was a Marine. So like, if things are bad in the industry, I'm going to call people out. I'm very like aggressive by nature. I think, like, obviously, like, ultra compassionate, but I'm not going to like sit there and act like everything's perfect. And I'm not a politician. So I said, like, kind of like in the room, like where I felt the United States was going in terms of like abandoning its farmers and stuff like that. And that accelerated us super high. Like I got appointed as a Goodwill Ambassador for Regenerative Agriculture at the UN. I travel the country and now world just advocating for farmers, as well as like reaching out to see how we can assist them. So my son also comes with me because he's more of a youth ambassador for this. So the UN and all of the work we've been doing has sent us all over the country, but we've also been to multiple countries down south: Honduras, El Salvador, Colombia, Peru, obviously Mexico, and then now we're going to Brazil. We've also been to Dubai and other like UN focused events, all just in the advocacy of farmers, right? Because like I'm just one farmer, and I run into a lot of issues politically, jurisdictionally. A lot of times it's mainly the bureaucrats that are like an issue. And I'm not alone. Like every farmer has that problem. So we started realizing that, yes, our farm is doing great and we have a lot of kids, but our little community is not going to feed the world. Like the rest of the farmers have to jump in too. And those farmers are struggling. So we started taking a different lens. It's like, dude, despite us being like a successful, like if the other farmers fail, we fail. We need their support. Like I cannot do farming without the fact that there's a market for equipment. There's a market for animal feed. If that goes away, then I'm not going to be successful.
As you're talking, I mean, realizing that farming is really sort of a great equalizer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll liken it to music. I mean, I think, I've talked to a number of artists that come into Ram's Head. And I'm like, when you do a show, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're Latino or Caucasian or black or white or gay or straight or male or female, Republican, Democrat, whatever. You're here for this experience and it brings you all together. And that all sort of goes away.
Yeah.
And I think in your instance here in the farming as well, it does. I mean, and, farming, certainly I would say that if you asked me to look, you can define ask ChatGPT to tell me, give me a picture of an Anne Arundel County farmer. Okay. It's not going to come up with a Mexican-American former Marine.
No.
It looks different in Dubai. It looks different in South America. It looks different out West. It looks, they look different, but it all brings in, as you meant, we all need to eat and supplement.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the beauty about farming is I tell everybody when they come here is like, look, yeah, I'm Mexican. I'm like a charro. I do rodeo and stuff like that. And that's the way I grow. But at the end of the day, that cow doesn't care that I'm Mexican. Like it doesn't care that you're black.
Right.
It's like, if it's hungry and you're in the way, it's going to hit you. But if you're nice to it and you're like, and you know how to manage it, it will produce for you. Like it doesn't matter who you are at the end of the day, because nature is gonna overcome everything no matter what. So yeah, it's been pretty wild, to be honest.
What other programs do we have here? I mean, you talked about, you've got riding lessons, you've got pony rides, you've got farm visits.
Yeah. So those are like kind of like the big ones. We do mobile education as well, but we also like, we have like deeper dives into agricultural, like sustainability and aggregation. So we partner with a lot of international universities and take interns from all over the world. Specifically, the largest one that we work with is Zamorano University. We take interns from Honduras and South America to come here, learn sustainable agriculture in the United States. And we'll take them around, and we don't just show them our farm. Like our farm is obviously like a very unique subset of agriculture, but then we'll also like do tours of Purdue facilities. We'll go to Purdue farms. We'll go to like large scale grain farmers. Like we go and do these tours of agricultural industry. and just leave them there and be like, this is your free labor for a day. And these kids are like,
Wow.
dedicated. I have never had a better worker than them. They're so passionate about the industry because that's what they're studying, but they also come from a culture of working super hard. Yeah, it's just been really amazing. So those like higher level programs are people can come and do the pony rides and the lessons. Then we start jumping into like what we call like the path towards ownership. At least that's what we call it, but they can go anywhere. It's like path towards industry. So we have one guy right now who came here for lessons. He's a former Marine as well. So like we obviously connect pretty well, but he's like, I am on the path. I need to buy a farm. I need to buy a farm. I need this for my family. And I'm like, okay, we're going to start walking you through like, these are regulations that you got to keep on the lookout for wherever you buy. You know, this is the type of land you need to look for. Like, obviously we can regenerate trash, but it's going to take you time. Do you have the time to do that? And it's like, we start like doing these more professional development courses as people get more and more involved in the system. And like, even to be honest with you, it's been like amazing to see how many young kids want that. Like 14-year-olds coming to me and be like, what's it take to own a farm? And I'll be like, well, this is the high level. And they're like, no, I want to really know. How do you do a business plan? How do you do budgeting? How do you do Schedule Fs, like your taxes as a farm? And I'm like, this is all amazing stuff. So
they're all in.
Yeah. So we realized like, I obviously don't like have the time to do it all. So we partner a lot with like University of Maryland, Maryland Department of Agriculture. We do international conferences and stuff like that we host so that people can come and just like, okay, I'm not the expert in everything, but I can bring the experts here.
True. Also, I mean, there's got to be invaluable. I mean, you've made mistakes along your way, I'm sure.
Every day. I still do.
I'm sure
I messed up this morning.
I'm sure they don't make enough paper to, to write them all down. But I mean, it's got to be invaluable to somebody that's looking to do this. Your former Marine that's in here saying, hey, I need to do this. I need to buy a farm.
Yeah.
And for you to sit there and say, okay, well, dude, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
And here.
Yeah.
You look at so many businesses that fail, and certainly the ones that start up like from nothing like you did.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things is they don't have enough money to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just an anomaly. And they said, hey, let's, what do you think about putting an RV in front of this
dump
and living here for a while? I mean, to be able to take that and build it up, but I mean, to be able to take the experiences that you've had from day one, the successes, the pitfalls, and says, hey, when you get to this point, then you want to look for this. Then these grants may become available to you. Then you want to reach out to, whether it's in Nebraska or whether it's here in Maryland or in Michigan or in Jersey, reach out to your state universities. They do have an agriculture, and to figure that out, that's huge.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So one of my really good friends owns like one of the largest franchises in the country for taxes and stuff like that. And he was like, dude, you should franchise. And that franchise should be centered not just on like doing the marketing and the branding for these small farmers around the world, or even if they're just like someone like this guy that wants to buy a farm. I'm like, okay, the hardest thing that I had to overcome was like the marketing, the policy support, the legislation, the farm planning, all that stuff. What if you gave that to them, right, as a franchise? And so like we're like toying with the idea of being like the first ever farming franchise.
Oh, that's exciting.
And because of where I sit at the UN and everything, we also have the ability to aggregate from them. So like the goal for these franchisees is like, hey, you want to get into farming? Okay, there's this cost. Find the land, or I'll find the land and we can put you there. But you're going to be the owner of this franchise. So like you have to make it successful. I'll give you all the tools to be successful. At the end of the day, like the primary focus is to feed the community, whether that's through education or through actual food. That's your goal, is to become that community feeder. Anything you don't sell and you don't want to donate, I will then negotiate sales to the largest food purchasers in the world, the Compasses, the Sodexos, the Ironmark. Like those people I'm in those rooms now. So like
they're looking for it.
Yeah. So like, while that's the tourism farms, like we're also like, I can't meet their demand. So like, maybe I can aggregate from other farmers that are not franchisees, like these grain farmers and these large scale produce farmers that are all like suffering right now because there's only really a few buyers in the world. But like, what if I could, like, just for example, work with Oriole Stadium? Obviously, we're very close with them. I can just go there. I want you to be 100% local. Oh, and they're always like these purchases, like, we don't know how to do that. We always go to US Foods or we go to Sodexo or, like,
Right.
I'm like, well, what if I can help you? What if I can bring the farmer's face to the table? And like, you need like 5,000 pounds of pork in order to make hot dogs. Like, I'm going to bring the hot dogs,
Can do it.
but those farmers' faces better be on the
board,
concession
yeah.
stand, right? So that's kind of like where we're kind of leaning towards, is like, we want more production so that we can meet the demand of these like larger seller or larger purchasers, but also at the same time, like, we want to aggregate. We don't want to be, I don't want to be this like monopoly of farm owners, right? Like, I don't want to be some Bill Gates of farming.
Yeah.
I want to be like the guy that's like, yeah, I empowered thousands of people to reinvigorate the agricultural community.
Jesus, I mean, 3 years ago, you were just kind of hoping for a barn to put people
I
in for
know.
a field trip.
I know.
And I mean, you're also looking for a ring,
Yeah.
which I don't think you have yet, do you?
Yeah.
Or
It's back there.
okay, the circular.
Yeah. Yeah.
Geez, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I want to just get back. I mean, you're Mexican American, so you were born in America.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad's from Mexico. My mom's actually Arab, but she's from Jersey. So
Okay,
it's very Jersey like.
Jersey Arab.
Yeah.
I got to worry about.
Very loud. Very loud.
But you are at every single parade that there is.
Yeah.
You've got your people out there. You're doing the cowboy thing. You mentioned that you're a cowboy thing. I mean, when you were young, were you a gaucho? I mean, was that your thing, or did you have to learn that as an adult? Or
Yeah. So when I was young, I would go to Mexico in the summers to visit my grandmother, and she introduced me to the charros, and those are the guys that wear the big sombreros and the cowboys and everything. And then I just started getting like really obsessed with it. And then when I was I never had the opportunity. Like, I was very not well off as a kid, so we didn't have the money to do horses and stuff like that. I did grow up on like a flower farm, so that's why you don't see flowers here, because I hate flowers. But I always wanted to do that. And then when I was in the Marine Corps, I was at a position that I could, right? Like, I was in San Diego. I was physically fit, like super physically fit, and I had money enough, not like a crazy amount, but enough to like actually spend the time to go ride. And these group of charros took me in and said, you don't even need to, we're not going to charge you. We just want you to ride with us, and we'll teach you. And they did that same thing that we do here. It's like, they just bring you in, feed you, and teach you.
for a day.
Yeah. And they like, I mean, same thing. They like, I got so involved with it, and I like started training horses with them. I was just like absorbing everything. And if they had not done that, I would not have been able to do any of this. So that charro thing, like, yeah, it is like a sense of pride in my culture, but really it's like the only reason that I'm capable of doing this is because those people took me in.
You're a Naval Academy grad.
Yeah.
Everybody's career in life takes all sorts of, I mean, there's no straight line career. I mean, there's always bumps. I mean, you've got some peaks and valleys and lefts and rights, probably more than most people.
It's been bumpy.
What, okay, think back to when you were like 18 years old and you got your appointment to the Naval Academy. And I mean, where did you think at that point that your life would take you? I'm going to guess it's not on a little farm in Edgewater.
No, it's funny because like when I got the appointment, I looked at my dad and I was like, I'm never going to be on a farm in my entire life. I just changed my whole life by going to the Naval Academy. I like vowed never to be in rural America. And then and I was like, I'm going to like go into the Marine Corps. I'm going to go to San Diego, and then I'm going to stay in for 20 years. Right. But then life just like takes you in so many different directions. I learned a lot and done a lot of things. But at the end of the day, like, the biggest thing that changed my life was having my son. And I realized like the world is not as pretty as you would hope, especially like in cities, like while there are like really beautiful aspects of a lot of cities, it's not the same as like being 6 years old and being able to run anywhere on a farm and being able to be on a horse and being able, like that lifestyle that we saw in Africa when we first went over there, of like, man, everybody's so happy, yet the life is so simple, right? Like, why are they so happy? And we realized it's because like to be on a farm requires community. Like you're required to be like Dad, the cow's out, right? Like, or like, oh my God, we got to call the neighbor. Like, maybe they can help us, like that type of thing.
Right.
It happens all the time. And like, it's at the end of the day, it is like a significant amount of work. Like, instant. Like, I've been up since 5, sweating already. Like,
Right.
but at the end of the day, like, there's no more like joy in this life than anywhere else, but it is like so authentic and so long lasting that the kids love it. And just to see your own kids not only like grow as like a farmer, but like grow as a person because of what the situation gives us, and to be able to give to others, just the lifestyle is insane.
I can't think of a better way or a better reason to start a business and to, readjust your trajectory in life than this. Wildkidacres.org is the website. I want everybody to go check that out. But more importantly, make some time to come down here and visit this farm. This is an incredible snapshot, really, of what Gerardo is involved in here. I mean, we are an international movement that is starting here at, I'm looking at my notes here, it's 731 Central Avenue in Edgewater. What you've done and when was the date that you first bought your scrub?
We bought it at the very end of 2019, but we were going through having to build the house.
Right. Okay. So you closed on this property in 2019. Yeah. And here we are 6 years later.
Yeah.
This is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, most businesses have failed and moved on. Yeah. Within 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I always told my wife when we were starting off, because it's hard for her, she's a city girl. And I was like, look, if we hit the 5-year mark, we're going to sustain ourselves for the rest, right? Like it's going to go through some really down parts and really up parts, and it has. And it's, right now it's still tough for a lot of people. And a lot of the beginning farmers that we started out with are no longer around. But we're like, if you can hit the 5-year mark, you will have been adaptable enough to sustain yourself for the rest of your career. And we hit it this year. Like, we opened up officially as a farm in 2020, right at the end. So we're having our 5-year anniversary in October. And
awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna have a big party, which you're coming to.
Are there? I absolutely. Do you have the date?
October 4th.
October 4th?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's that's right around 2 kids' birthdays. So I'll definitely be.
It is my birthday. So
there you go.
That was just a coincidence. I actually don't celebrate my birthday that often. So I was like, oh, yeah, that's my birthday. I forgot.
What a fantastic way to celebrate. Gerardo Martinez, thank you so much for your time. More importantly, thank you for bringing Wild Kid Acres to Anne Arundel County, to Edgewater, and to the world and beyond. And I definitely am not going to be another 5 years or 3 years to see, because I think your growth is going to be a little bit quicker than that. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on that. And just congratulations for everything that you've done.
You.
And much success in the world.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.